I am very grateful to have support on today's video from my friends at Squarespace, who are the absolute best in web design. Let's do this thing, shall we? Hello my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another video. I hope you have been keeping very well. I am really excited for today's video. This is an idea that Kara came to me with over a month ago, and I have been really looking forward to making it. So in today's video, I'm going to be recreating my 5 favorite vegan takeaway dishes that I get from local restaurants here on the Gold Coast. I'm a major foodie. I love going out to eat just as much as I love cooking, and these are 5 things that I eat super regularly and I'm always ordering when I am going to these restaurants. So first of all, I hope you enjoy the recreations, but second of all, I hope that if you visit the Gold Coast and you're looking for somewhere to eat, that you visit these restaurants and try these dishes, because they're like my 5 favorite things that I can get on the Gold Coast, essentially. So with that all being said, let's get into the video. And the first thing that we are making today is a kale Caesar salad. This is like the best salad I've had in my entire life. It's from a local vegan restaurant called Greenhouse Canteen. The restaurant and this dish are entirely vegan and gluten-free, and I really hope you enjoy my recreation. Okay, so to make the kale Caesar salad, we are first of all making some crispy polenta. To do so, I am starting with some water and some polenta into a saucepan over medium to high heat, just stirring that for quite a while until it thickens up nicely. You want it to bubble like this. Then I also added in some olive oil as well as nutritional yeast, some pepper, and also some salt. You could add other spices here if you would like to. Then once it's all mixed together, I put it into a baking tin, leveled it out, and put it into the oven to get nice and crispy for about 15 to 20 minutes. Whilst that was happening, I started to make my rice paper bacon. To make my rice paper bacon, I make a mixture and then I wet some rice paper, run the rice paper through the mixture, and then put them into the oven to bake. As you can see, they will sizzle away like so, and it is very, very satisfying to watch. Next, we are making a Caesar dressing. So I started this with some cashews, which I had soaked, added some nutritional yeast, veggie stock, and garlic cloves, followed by some lemon juice, some Dijon mustard, and then added in some water and blended this all together. After that, I then got some kale and chopped it up into small pieces, as well as some cos lettuce, and then I washed all of this before putting it into a bowl, pouring that creamy cashew dressing on top and massaging it together like so. Then I served this onto a plate. I got the crispy polenta, which I chopped up, and then I put the rice paper bacon on top as well. This is a super delicious meal that you can also make in bulk to enjoy throughout the week. Honestly, every time I go to Greenhouse, I order this salad. It's like one of the best things I've ever eaten. I highly recommend. Okay, moving on, and now we're moving to breakfast, because every weekend for like the past month, I've been going to a local cafe called Watson Bloom. They're predominantly plant-based, and every weekend I get this pesto pumpkin toasty, and I don't know what they do to it, but it is like the best toasty I've ever eaten in my entire life. So I attempted to recreate it, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so for the pumpkin pesto toasty, we're first of all cooking some pumpkin. I made a whole heap of pumpkin so that I could have a few toasties throughout the week. I first of all chopped the pumpkin into these kind of size pieces, I guess, cut the skin off, and then drizzled a little bit of olive oil and salt over the top and roasted them in the oven until they were nice and caramelized. After that, I then got some bread. This is some gluten-free bread. You can use whichever bread tickles your fancy. And then I also sliced up some fresh Roma tomatoes. There's nothing more satisfying than cutting a tomato well. I buttered the bread and then I put this into a frying pan over the heat. I then added some pesto on top of both of the pieces and spread it all out so it was nice and even. And then after that, I then added that sliced tomato as well as some vegan cheese. I also then added in the pumpkin that I had roasted as well as some fresh rocket, and then put this all together and allowed it to fry up. This can get a little bit messy, but it is definitely worth it. Absolutely packed full of flavor and super delicious. I love it so much. I think I might just have to go and make one right now. Here's the thing, I literally think that I could eat that toasty for breakfast every single day and I would never get sick of it. So before we move into the next dish, I just want to say a big thank you to my friends at Squarespace who very kindly sponsored today's video. I love Squarespace. I've been working with Squarespace very closely for a little while now, and I love hosting my website with them. It's genuinely been the most seamless, easy process, and that's why I love to not only work with them, but I also love to host and design my website with them, because it's genuinely super easy, and it makes it just really easy for me to upload recipes, which is something that can be really time consuming, but isn't as time consuming with all of the blogging features that Squarespace have. As well as that, something that's really exciting is that I am working on my ebook at the moment, and I'm hoping to have it out in a couple of months. Very exciting. And once I am selling my ebook, I'm also going to be able to do that on Squarespace as well. I'm going to be able to sell my products through Squarespace, which I'm really excited about, being able to do everything in one place. So if you are a creative like me and you want to share your art with the world, I highly recommend using Squarespace to host your website. As well as that, if you are a business looking to sell products and put your stuff out there, I highly recommend. I genuinely love them so much, and yes, I think it will make everything a lot easier for you. So if you're interested in trying Squarespace, you can very simply go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And then when you are ready to launch, you can go to squarespace.com/AmandaDux, where you'll get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. So the next dish that I decided to recreate for today's video is a vegan korma. Every week without fail, I get a vegan korma from a local Indian restaurant called Temple of Spices. They are not a vegan restaurant, but they have an entire vegan menu, which is so delicious. Anyone that I ever recommend to go there always comes back to me with like, that was the best Indian food I've eaten in my entire life. Anyway, I decided to recreate said korma, and it was my first time making a korma, so it wasn't 100% perfect, but it is still super delicious. Okay, so to make the korma, I first of all started off with some potatoes, which I sliced up into small pieces, like little triangle pieces. And then after that, I also then got some carrot to slice up as well. You can use other veggies if you would like. This is what I had on hand at the time, so I decided to use them as the base for this korma. So I cut up the potatoes and the carrots, and then after that I also got a white onion, and I got about a quarter of this. I used about a quarter of this that I had chopped up into small pieces. After that, I then also got 3 cloves of garlic, and I crushed them and sliced them into small pieces as well. Then in a pot over the heat, I drizzled a little bit of olive oil and then added in that onion and garlic to fry up, as well as some minced ginger. You could grate in fresh ginger if you would like. I just had minced ginger on hand. So once this had fried up nicely, I then added in some coconut cream as well as my chopped potatoes and chopped carrots, stirred this around lightly, and then left it there to simmer for a little while. After that, I then added in some tomato paste as well as some warm spices, followed by some pepper and some salt. I stirred this together nicely until it was well combined, and then from there I just let it keep on going until those potatoes and carrots got nice and soft. Then I added in some peas and some corn right before I was about to remove it from the heat, so it just had a couple of minutes to heat up but not go too mushy. To serve the korma, I cooked some yellow rice. I then topped that yellow rice with said korma, and then also topped it with coconut yogurt. I love coconut yogurt on Indian food so very much. Topped it with some fresh coriander, and then this was my korma. Super yummy, and again, you can make it in bulk throughout the week. Like I said, if you're ever on the Gold Coast, you definitely need to get takeaway from Temple of Spices one night. It is so ridiculously good. Next up, we are making a karaage cauliflower, and I am really excited about this one because I love cauliflower so very much. One of my favorite vegetables to cook with. I am recreating a dish from I Like Ramen, which is a completely vegan Japanese restaurant here on the Gold Coast. It's really good. I highly recommend checking them out, and this is my favorite dish by far. Every time I go there, whether it be dine-in or takeaway, I always get it. It is super delicious. So let's get into the recreation. So I'm first of all making the sauce for this cauliflower dish with some sesame oil, followed by some hoisin sauce, and then after that I also added in some soy sauce as well as maple syrup. You could also add in garlic or onion here if you would like to. I whisked it all together, and then I got my head of cauliflower and I chopped it all up into florets. For this recipe you only need half a cauliflower. I just used the rest of it. I just like chopped it up in advance so I could use it another time. Anyway, I tossed half of the head of cauliflower florets through the sauce that I had pre-made, and then I got some tapioca starch, flour, whatever you would like to call it, put it into a bowl, and then I rolled all of the cauliflower bits. So I had them dipped in the sauce, and then I rolled them in the flour and put them onto another plate. Then I put these into the oven to roast for about 40 to 45 minutes, or until they got nice and golden. These are something that I think would also go really well in bao if you ever wanted to make bao at home. So serving these is very simple. I just put them into a bowl with some vegan mayonnaise and a fork, and that was it. Fun fact, I'm eating this dish as I am editing this video, and it is really, really delicious. This video has now really got me thinking about what I'm gonna order for dinner tonight, because there's simply no way, after talking about all of these delicious foods, that I can't order one, you know? Anyway, our final recreation for today's video are these fried crispy noodles with vegetables. This is my favorite dish to get from a local restaurant called Tian Ren, which is a fully vegan Asian restaurant. It is so ridiculously good. They have so many delicious things. I love it so very much, and I eat there very frequently. This fried crispy noodle dish never fails me, so hopefully my recreation of it doesn't fail you. I hope you enjoy. So similarly to the last dish, we are starting by making the sauce with some sesame oil as well as soy sauce. Then I used some vegan oyster sauce as well as maple syrup. I put this into the bowl as well, and I mixed this together until it was nice and well combined. From there, I then got some tofu. I used about 1/3 of a block of tofu, cut it into small cubes, and then I cut up half of a green capsicum into strips and a bunch of broccolini. Then in a frying pan, I started with some olive oil, and then I put my tofu, capsicum, and broccoli in there to cook up and just get nice and crispy. After that, I then got some noodles, which I put onto my baking tray. This is some reusable baking paper. Well, it's a reusable baking sheet, and it is a game changer. I'm going to link it below for you. I drizzled some sesame oil over this and then put it into the oven. Then I poured my pre-made sauce as well as some water over my tofu and my vegetables, and I allowed that to simmer so the tofu could soak up the flavor and the sauce could thicken a little bit. From there, I then got my crispy noodles out of the oven, put those into the bowl first, and then I poured over the sauce and vegetable and tofu mixture, and as you can see, it is such a divine meal, so packed full of flavor, and I really hope you enjoy. Alrighty, and with those fried crispy noodles, it brings us to the end of today's video. Once again, if you are on the Gold Coast or if you ever visit the Gold Coast, I highly recommend checking out these restaurants and cafes and supporting them and trying these dishes. I love them so much. But if you don't get the chance to come to the Gold Coast, then I hope you can enjoy them in the comfort of your own home as well. As always, thanks so much for being here and supporting me on my YouTube channel. I appreciate it so much. Don't forget to check out Squarespace via the link in my description box, and I will see you very soon for another video. Have a beautiful day. Bye!